Now on Up with KREM, the debate over vaccine passports has made its way to the inland Northwest.
Vaccine passports create a different class of citizens.
We'll explain what they are and why not everyone is on board.
Once you get a COVID-19 vaccine, you should also get a vaccine card. This morning, we're answering some of your biggest questions, including what to do if you didn't get a card and if you should post a picture of it online.
And we're taking you outside where rain is coming down. It's windy and it's kind of cold. We'll let you know what to expect throughout the day.
Now that the Zags historic season is over, what comes next for some of the biggest players? Coming up, we'll tell you who's expected to stay and who's moving on.
Up with KREM begins now.
The 85th Masters Golf Tournament is underway this morning in Augusta, Georgia. The tournament officially began with golf greats Lee Elder, Gary Player, and Jack Nicklaus at the honorary starters ceremony.
The tournament comes as controversy over a new voting law in Georgia is growing. In our next half hour of Up with KREM, we'll hear about what the Augusta National Golf Club chairman had to say about it.
Looks like a beautiful morning there in Georgia. Such a fun way to, kick off the weekend with a lot of golf. I love it.
Yeah. Dana Marie, I was watching those guys swing. Did you see how long their drivers were?
Yes. I mean, those are the classic. I mean, Jack Nicklaus I've been looking up to him as a golfer myself since I was really, really young. So it's fun to see that.
I think we got to drag Tim out. Tim, you're coming for a round of golf.
I don't know. I'll try it. Okay, but not great golfing weather today, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, you might not want to do it today. Here, my hair is starting to fall apart because it's so wet out here. Rain is coming down. Yeah, now you know what's happening. It's a little bit breezy as well. This morning we're sitting in the 30s with wind out of the southwest at about 15 miles per hour as the rain continues to fall. It says no here in Spokane, but I'm here to tell you that is a lie because right now I'm standing in rain. 36 in rain in Coeur d'Alene, 36 in rain up in Sandpoint as well. Wind continues. It starts to die down later on today. I think about the time our moisture does officially wrap up, we'll start to watch that wind die down, but it is cold, it is wet, it is rainy, it is windy, and you can even see that on the radar there. So it's saying, hey, just because you're starting to clear out at the airport doesn't mean that that's the case in town. It's wet and up above 3,000 feet. It's snow, but if I look up into the hills, 2,500 feet still coming down as rain. So that's a bit of good news. Here's how this one plays out for you. We wind up seeing a little bit of moisture linger into the 10 and even 11 o'clock hour by noon. That starts to wind down by this afternoon. I'm thinking we see a little bit of sunshine, and the good news is that sunshine even takes us into the day tomorrow. So by this afternoon, 50s, and I'll probably wind up getting a car wash just so I can enjoy it and then maybe just park my car on Saturday when our next chance of rain arrives. I'll let you know about that coming up. And it's not raining harder. It's raining way harder. I am going to just be soaking wet and cold all day.
All right, Jeremy, come on, fix your hair.
All right.
We'll see you back inside. Multicare has more than 500 vaccine appointments available today and tomorrow.
Now, these appointments are for those who are eligible already. Multicare says since eligibility expands next week, it's a perfect time for those who are already eligible to schedule their appointments.
Yeah, the available appointments are for first and second doses. To check your eligibility and to schedule an appointment, you can text the word vaccine to 509-448-2000 and we will send you a link to the right place. Well, as vaccine numbers increase, more people are venturing out to events and planning trips, but there are questions about whether we will need to carry so-called vaccine passports to prove you received the shots. Nicole Hernandez joins us now live to explain what they are and why not everyone is on board. Good morning, Nicole.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. So those vaccine passports, the idea of them is basically that people should have to show proof of the fact that they got vaccinated to have access to certain services or to go certain places. But the big question on people's minds right now is whether or not you're going to have to get that vaccine passport as well as your mask and a regular passport to catch a flight at the airport. So for right now, a spokeswoman for Governor Jay Inslee said they are not considering vaccine passports here in Washington state. However, it is possible that private companies could require them. The White House says Americans will not be required to carry a vaccination credential or a so-called vaccine passport. Several U.S. states, including Idaho, have already banned vaccine passports, arguing vaccines are not mandatory.
A trend is starting to emerge across the country, one that threatens individual freedom and patient privacy. I'm talking about so-called vaccine passports. Vaccine passports create a different class of citizens.
Now, New York State just unveiled a digital pass that shows proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test, and other counties have been moving ahead with vaccine passport plans. And several international airlines are actually testing out universal travel passes that can show whether you've had a negative COVID-19 test, and they're also seeing if they can use that same platform to show vaccines as well. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Nicole, thank you. And that leads to our question of the morning. We want to hear from you. Should places be able to ask for a vaccine passport before letting you travel or go inside a building? We'll be checking in with our responses a little bit later in the show. You can see our live poll there. If you do text us your response, let us know why also. We'd love to hear why you think why or why they should not.
And once you get vaccinated, you should get a vaccine card issued by the CDC. The purpose of the card is to prove you got vaccinated. It also helps keep track of when and how many doses you've gotten. So this morning we're answering some of your biggest questions that you've sent us, starting with what happens if you lose your vaccination card or if you don't get one from your provider. The CDC recommends you try to contact your vaccination provider directly. They should be able to give you a new one. If you aren't able to connect with them, you should contact your state health department immunization information system. Vaccine providers are required to report to this system. It should have all your information. Now, both here in Washington and Idaho, they have their IIS on the State Department of Health's website for easy access. Our next question is it okay to post pictures of your card on social media? Well, the FBI warned against doing this back in February. They said bad actors can use pictures of your vaccine card to steal your identity and commit fraud. They could also use it to fake vaccine cards. And the last question we're going to tackle this morning is there an online version of the vaccine card? And right now the answer is no. They aren't any available, but there are options to have access to that same information online. So V-Safe is a smartphone-based tool that will send you text messages and web surveys to help you after you get the vaccine. You can also sign up by going to the CDC's website. VaxText is similar and sends texts and reminders to get a second dose. To enroll in VaxText, text the word enroll to the number you see there on your screen. Neither can be used to schedule vaccine appointments. 7:08 now, it's time for your morning rush. More news in less time.
Yeah, a film shot here in Spokane before the pandemic is now available to watch on the virtual silver screen. All Those Small Things stars James Faulkner from Game of Thrones. The movie's executive producer pushed for the film to be shot in Eastern Washington, with some of the major scenes set at the Washington Cracker Building.
Film magic like that is so much easier to create in Spokane. So really knowing the community, knowing the terrain, and then the actual film family.
It's the story of an aging British game show host who comes to Spokane looking for a deeper meaning to his life. The film was an official selection in the Seattle International Film Festival. Now, tickets for the 10-day-long screening period can be bought on the film festival's website.
The Washington State Senate approved a ban on Native American mascots at school. School districts will have until the end of this year to phase out the mascot or name or logo. Now, the ban does not apply to schools located within Native American areas or places nearby, as long as the nearest tribe authorizes the use of the name. The House will have a final vote, and then it will head to the governor's desk. Governor Inslee has signed a new measure into law pertaining to felon voting rights. People convicted of a felony in Washington will now automatically have their voting rights restored when they are released from custody. The main supporter of the move is Representative Tara Simmons, who was incarcerated herself before becoming a lawyer.
And that's your Morning Rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKrem on social media.
And still to come this morning on Up with KREM, who's staying, who's going, and who's coming in. This morning, we're giving you an idea of what the Gonzaga men's basketball roster could look like next season.
And another restaurant is making a comeback here in Spokane. Zola reopened last night, which means there's another place to get your live music fix. We talked with the owners about this exciting news. That's coming up in our next half hour of Up with KREM.